reading 2006. So I do expect that after this, we can meet in a breakout room so that I can also listen your sharing with extensive reading, particularly on assessment. Now, this one, I'll start with this one. So this picture is actually me when I started an ER program in 2006. So at that time, I asked myself whether it is okay to assess our ER students. Yeah, considering that our ER program is actually a required course. It means that it is a mandatory, so that our students must take it. So because of that, we need to actually evaluate our students' performance and also to report the students' progress. So we need to decide their grade. And it's not only about pass or fail the course, yeah, but there should be a certain points to decide whether they deserve an A or an AB or B and stuff like that. But in the other hand, yeah, at that time I was still a newbie in extensive reading. I learned about the 10 principles of extensive reading proposed by Julian Bamford and Richard Day. And from the principles, I learned that actually there shouldn't be any assessment in ER. So at that time, I was like in a dilemma whether to include assessment in our ER program or not. Now, this is what I have mentioned before. So this is a little bit more overview about our ER program. So our ER program is a mandatory and it's a 4-credit course. So we meet twice every week for 2 hours. And this program is offered to the first semester students, yeah, first year, first semester students. So the refreshment. And then the goal is to increase their interest toward reading in English. And our students, yeah, they need to read a large amount of longer, easy to understand material in and outside the classroom at their own pace and their own level. So they can choose whatever they want to read. And usually we have a kind of what do you call that? Silent reading session for 15 minutes in every meeting. But the biggest portions of reading is what? They have to do it outside the class. And we actually set a certain number of pages as their target goal. That is 1,250 pages. Why these numbers? Is because we assume that the students will have around 10 weeks to read, and we want them to read around 100 pages every week. So 100 pages is equal to 3 books. But recently, I think because we start to use, what is it? We take sources from ER Central, for example. So we will change the target number. So it's not pages anymore, but we will use words. But this one, yeah. So we choose this number because we assume that they will read for 10 weeks. Ya, jadi 100 pages every week. Now, this is so as I mentioned before that I was in a dilemma at that time, because as we know that the nature of extensive reading is to make the student love reading in English. So it's like if we give assessment, then the assessment will probably kill the joy of reading. Yeah. And then this one, again, from the principles, we can learn that, yeah, reading is its own reward. So the learners themselves, yeah, as a reader, they will experience the benefits of extensive reading. So there shouldn't be any follow-up exercise or activity after reading, but they will, if they read, they will experience the benefits of extensive reading. I think there are many studies have explore about the benefits of extensive reading in terms of vocabulary, in terms of writing, in terms of reading, and many other things. Yeah. Now, and then, yeah. So the principles of extensive reading, as we should know, as well as we have known, is, yeah, these are the main principles. So read, read, and read. Yeah, and then the other principle is enjoy, enjoy, and enjoy. So the student are free to choose what they want to read, as long as they enjoy what they are reading, and if they don't enjoy it, they can stop and find other things. Now, but yeah, so I found a study conducted by Kim, and he conducted a study in a Korean context in a university setting, and he said something like this. So in the context of EFL, especially in a university setting in Korea, it can be difficult not to evaluate ER in a language program. So this one is similar to what I experienced, and perhaps what you experience as well in your own context. Now, apparently, yeah, I am actually one of the member of IERA, and we had a roadshow in 2018 and 2019, and we also had several webinars. Yeah, as Ibu Laksmita and Yusefa mentioned before, we have ngabuburit and virtual talk. And what I found out is that assessment are still an interesting issue to discuss. There were always participants, yeah, or the audience asked about how to assess if they want to have an extensive reading program. Yeah, so how to assess, what is the, what is it? What should they do to check the students' progress and stuff like that? So now these questions. So can we have reading assessment that will not jeopardize the nature of ER approach, that will not kill the joy of reading, but still, yeah, we can assess our students? And the next question, how can we do that? So now, unfortunately, I could not attend Mark's session yesterday or the day before, because I think Mark was also sharing about assessment in extensive reading. So hopefully what I shared today will enrich, yeah, more ideas about assessment in extensive reading. Now, looking back to what I have done with extensive reading, I could find these four things when it comes to assessment. So assessment will be used as a monitor. Yeah, so to monitor the students' progress. It can also be used to motivate the students to read, and then to check the students' understanding, and also to reflect the student reading progress. Now, this one is the example. So as I mentioned in the abstract, I will try to provide some example. Now, these are the types of assessment that we can use to monitor the student reading progress. The previous presenter, I think Kimberly, also mentioned about the reading log. Now, actually, this idea is similar. So picture one that I have here, that was our reading record form. So when we started our ER program in 2006, we used this paper reading report. Yeah, so we asked the students to complete this reading report, and then every week, yeah, the second meeting every week, we check. We ask them to count, we check, we talk about it. So whether they read the appropriate level. Yeah. How to indicate that they read the appropriate level is we can check the minutes they spend for reading that particular book. If we think that they read too long, then we probably can conclude that the level is a bit too difficult for them. And then we can suggest that they should read something easier, so lower level. Now, in present day, we are so lucky because we have so many websites that we can use, and it's also a free website, because I know that not all of us have a luxurious to what is it, to provide what is to use what is it, and apa namanya, to use website which require a certain amount of money. Now we can also have a similar thing here, and it's easy because we don't need to count, because the web help us to count. What is this one? Yeah, we can always check the number of logins that the student did, and then how many books they have read, and also the quiz. So this reading record form or this kind of activity can help actually not just the student but also the teacher to monitor the reading progress. So for the teacher, we can give advice, and then for the students, they can also help. They can also try to learn to monitor their own reading. Now the next one is this one. Okay, so I think I put in the wrong. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll go to this slide first, and then I'll go back to the previous slide. Now, the next one is assessment to motivate the students to read. Now, I think this one, everybody are experts on this type of activities. Yeah, we can call it the follow-up reading activities, and there are various follow-up reading activity that the teachers can do. So like this one, picture one is actually a diorama showcase. Picture two is a poster presentation. Picture three is a bookmark with the student's favorite quotation. So this one, actually, the students are asked to make a diorama showcase in group after they finish reading one book. So because this is a group project, so they need to discuss with their friends, and they need to decide which book they want to use for a project. And then they have to read the book together and make the project. And then picture two and picture three, those are an individual assignment, individual activity that they have done again after they finish reading a book. And of course, they can choose whatever book they want to share, and they can make a poster and also bookmark. And by having this kind of activity, so it is expected that they will be motivated to read the book. Yes, because they discuss the book, they listen to their friends' presentation. Who knows, that the students will be interested in reading more. And then this one are the example of the activity or assessment that we can use to check the students' understanding. Now here, I think one of the presenter mentioned that in an ER program, you can integrate that with another skill. So the focus is not just reading, but then you can also have a speaking activity or writing activity. Now, from this example is actually we try to relate reading and writing. The idea here is after the students read the text, a book, so they need to pick a character and think about the main problem that the character has in that book. So, and then they will ask to write a letter telling about their problem to a famous person. So they can choose the famous person that they like, and they can pretend as if they are the main character and tell the famous person about that. Now, this one, we actually asked the students to write down in we are using blog. So we asked them to write in the blog. And this one, the reading is taken from this website, englishereader.net. And then this person, my student choose Mario Teguh. Mario Teguh is one of a famous person, is a famous motivator in Indonesia. And then this is what she shared to Mario Teguh, as if she's writing directly to Mario Teguh. And then the other example is this one. This is more on speaking activity. So the student need to imagine as if they were the main character of the story, and they need to retell the story from the character point of view. So again, this is not really speaking, but this is more again a writing. They need to write it down, their idea in a blog. Now, before this, I think I can go back to now. This one, who is this? This is actually another example of assessment to check the students' reading progress, to check the students' understanding. I think if we use a web like ER Central, you can always ask your students to answer the quiz there. And I think yesterday, Tom also have a kind of demonstration on this. Now, the last one is assessment to reflect their reading progress. So usually we give them at the end of the program. So we want the students to compare their attitude toward reading at the beginning and at the end of the semester. And then we ask them to share it orally using screencast or Matic. So they record, they share, and then they record their idea here. And okay, now, so will assessment in an ER program contradict the ER approach? So will assessment in the ER program kill the joy of reading? So in my opinion, as long as we can provide fun assessment, so not, it's not like a serious paper and pencil task in which the students have to sit and then they have to, do it individually. It will be okay, yeah, because at present day we can find so many ideas how to assess students in a very interesting and fun ways. Yeah. And again, this one, assessment tools, yeah, will help us to identify our learner needs, document their progress, and determine how we are doing as teachers and planners. Now, if we look at the extensive reading principles, then we can see that extensive reading gives freedom. Extensive reading provides chance for the so-called learner autonomy. But then in our context, yeah, EFL context, probably is not easy for our students to become autonomous learners. Yeah, we need to help them, we need to guide them. So here, assessment tool can help us, teachers, to help the students to monitor their own progress, which later can make them become autonomous learners. Yeah. And of course, assessment tool will give the best snapshot of our progress of our learners and the effectiveness of our program. Now, I should say this is an illustration that I love because the way we see assessment and extensive reading, it's not as a separate things, yeah, but actually assessment can work hand in hand with the other ER principles, and it can be used to make the students motivate more in reading. And of course, with some other beneficial benefits as well, as I mentioned before. And if you are interested in knowing more about assessment, so these are some few studies, yeah, because not many articles, not many scholars really discuss about assessment in extensive reading. Mostly about the benefits, yes, but assessment are still few. So if you're interested to know more about assessment, you can read these articles. Yeah. So I think that's all for me. I don't know, we still have time for question and answer, Wendy?
I think there is a little bit of time for question and answer. Thank you very much, Anita. Does anybody have any questions for Anita about her presentation?
Yeah, I think I have found some in the chat room from Andre Persson. I like about pre and post course. Okay, thank you. When they share orally, how can such things be graded and do other students see them? Usually, can I answer that, Wendy, from Glenn? Questions
yes,
from
please,
okay.
please go ahead.
Usually, like for example, the reading, the writings session. So we assess them based on their idea, whether the content is nice, And then a little bit about the language. So the rubric that we use or the component that we use for that kind of assessment is probably not too tough. It's just mostly about the content and then the language. And if it is about the poster presentation, we also include creativity. The students' creative, how they design their poster, the color and stuff like that. So you probably argue that this is probably not really reading that is assessed, but it's more on the product of the reading, not really their reading performance, but the product that they have after they read. Okay. The share. Could I get your video? Oh yeah. So I think it's available in the YouTube. Is that correct, Wendy?
Yes, it will be available in the YouTube.
Could you go back to the second slide? Oh, okay. Is that okay? Do I still have time?
You just have 1 or 2 minutes, so I think it's all right if you can do it quickly.
Yeah, so I can show you the second slide of the references so that you can have it. This one? And also this one probably. Okay. Okay, Wendy. Yes. Oh, are all students? Yeah, yes, Larissa. They're not great ER lovers. And yes, of course, we know that there might be some of them who cheat, but as a teacher, we have to learn to trust them. Is that correct? Okay, Wendy. Yes.
All right, let's give Anita a round of applause for her great presentation. Thank you very much. And if you would like to continue the conversation further, please feel free to join her in her breakout room.
Okay.